Once the faculty determines the entity that they want to set up for the company, if they're dealing with more than one person who's going to own that entity, they need to have discussions early on about the best way to split up equity or ownership interest in the company. This is important because, as I mentioned earlier, they want to avoid misunderstandings about the ownership percentage interest they have in the company. There are a number of factors that faculty should consider when splitting up equity ownership interest in the company. One factor is, has the founder contributed money to the company, or have they contributed intellectual property to the company? If that's the case, then that founder should receive a higher percentage of equity in the company. Another issue that should be considered is whether the founder actually developed the idea for the company. If it was the founder who came up with the idea, then they should be rewarded accordingly, and they should receive higher percentage interest in the company. An additional factor to consider when splitting up equity is how involved are the owners going to be in the company. If one of the owners is only going to be involved part-time in the company, then they shouldn't receive as much equity ownership in the company as another who will be working with the company full-time. A couple of other factors to consider are whether the founder actually put more time into the company prior to incorporating the company. And if that's the case, then they should receive a higher percentage interest in the company. An additional factor is whether the owners will take more responsibility in the company. And if they are going to take more responsibility in the company going forward, then it's important for that owner to get more equity ownership in the company. Again, these factors are not as likely with a faculty who's consulting, since they will most likely be consulting on their own. But if they do find themselves in the situation of working with more than one person, these are a few guidelines to keep in mind as faculty are dividing up ownership interest in the company.